Hello and welcome back to the SNHU Esports live from the Connection IT Arena. We got some more League of Legends for you tonight. My name is Shane. I'm joined here with Connor. You might recognize us from our last League of Legends stream on Friday, but we're right back with another one here. We've got SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. So I'm pretty excited for this particular matchup, just to get to check in on White, because I always love seeing some of our other teams that never get to see that much stream time, and get to check in a little bit on exactly how they're developing and what's going on with them.
Right, we saw some development last time we saw them, so hopefully we'll be able to see, exactly what you said, check in and actually see what they got cooking for us, because I feel like this might be one of the closer matchups that they've had. So this is definitely an opportunity for them to really show us what they can do and shine on the rift, as we always like to say.
A lot of our secondary teams I really like to watch, because you get to see some weird stuff, and you get to see things like weird and strange upsets, like compositions that you don't normally see on our other teams, and you get to see just the weird stuff that of cultivates at a little bit just a bracket underneath is always such a stark difference. And seeing the way that they play versus the way that other teams play that we normally watch here on stream is super refreshing, I think.
Yeah, it's like collegiate esports is already like that, where you have them scouting each other out and saying oh, we could pick this into their team because they only play this or something like that. But we're going to see that on top of kind of more niche things that these teams practice. Like, for example, pretty sure that Lal White likes front to back compositions. So that's kind of what they've been practicing. So it might be one of the things that they'll look for drafting in their draft.
Yeah, and also worth noting, if you are interested in watching our SNHU Blue League of Legends team tonight, they are live on the B stream right now versus Assumption College. So pop open a second tab and get a double dosage of League of Legends tonight, because there's definitely a lot to go around. So be sure to check that out. But while we're waiting for this draft to kick off, I did want to plug real quick. If you haven't heard, Granite State Grind is on its way back October 22nd. If you haven't seen it on our Twitter, it's all over there. So if you want to pop that open, twitter.com/SNHU Esports, you'll be able to find all the sign-up information, everything there. It's a huge, super fun Smash tournament. So be sure to check that out if you're at all interested in that. And also, there's some rumors on our Twitter account of another event called Never Hold Back. Still undecided on the date, but it will be in November. Around that time will be a Street Fighter tournament. So if you are interested in that, I know I am. We're definitely both going to be there. So check that out, and just stay tuned on our Twitter for more information to come out in the next few weeks, because that is still developing, and something we're super excited to get going.
Yeah, I mean, we've always wanted some kind of Street Fighter event here, so finally, maybe we're going to get that.
Yeah, right?
I'm super excited for that.
And then once the doors open for that, don't tell anyone who's organizing the event that I'm saying this just between the three of us, right? I want to see Tekken pop up on there.
Yeah.
I want the door to just completely swing open and see more stuff. Yeah. So definitely, if you like fighting games, be sure to keep an eye on our Twitter. But draft is getting started for League of Legends, the real reason you're here tonight. So let's go ahead and pop this open. SUNY Potsdam starting off with first ban. I need to set the tempo here in this selection.
We're going to see that Zaraban come out here from SUNY, which is always, we saw Rarvane's Zara last time.
Yeah.
And, it had huge potential, just huge ultimates, nice roots, couple double roots in the bot lane. It's not exactly what you want to play into when you want prio in the bot lane, right? So, Zyra can definitely shut down a pretty powerful bot lane that is looking to harass Caitlyn Lux or something like that. So we could see a potentially prio, what do you call it, requiring bot lane coming out from SUNY here, but
something that demands a little bit of respect, right?
Yeah,
requires you to pay attention to them, otherwise they will just steamroll. I would like to see that come out from these teams here, and we'll also see the Xayah ban from Potsdam, but for SNHU White starting off their bans, Gangplank and Gwen. Those are two characters that we've seen very recently, and Gwen actually had a great performance on Friday. from the team that we were playing against then. So I'm not too surprised to see SNHU White say maybe like, hey, this character might be a little bit out more than we bargained for right now. You know, we're just going to lock this one up and put it off to the side until we can really get a good grip on it. And the Briar ban coming out from Potsdam is going to be, not quite. I'm actually surprised. If there's no Briar ban in the first wave of bans, maybe they're kind of hedging their bets on White having to ban it, right?
Yeah. And I kind of like this, what they're doing here, because you saw the Gwen ban, right? And that could, hint that SNHU White is looking at a safe lane in the top lane, potentially orange, so that they can give mid a counter pick at the end if they want. So, of course, SUNY reacted to that by banning Ornn, which is nice reactive drafting there, and also banned one of the two lovebirds that could potentially contest another demanding Cryo bot lane.
But we've got our actual picks coming through now, and SUNY looking to pick up Swain to start off with on their first pick. How safe is that as a first pick?
Swain as a Swain as a first pick is perfect, because you can put him in the mid lane, you can put him in support. Sometimes you can also put him in top lane. So he has a lot of room for just being wherever he wants. The problem is it kind of demands a little bit more of a kind of snowbally team, because you just want to be in the middle of everyone with your ultimate. So as Swain, it's kind of iffy if they do end up picking things like with Grievous or like a Katarina or something. So in that scenario, you'd put him bot lane. But we see the Jarvan and the Lulu coming out here from SNHU, which is
very aggressive.
Yeah, pretty aggressive for the jungle. The Lulu is something that we're kind of just holding on to, not decided yet. Could go with like a Jinx or a Twitch or something like that. Lulu doesn't have that much presence right now, but it's definitely something that they can make work with a lot of things.
Yeah. Galio is going to give a lot more stability to SUNY in the mid lane if they decide to put him there, because that's just going to be a super tanky person right in the middle of the map. It's got really great rotations. It's going to be super relevant in a lot of team fights, and Viego as well as the jungler.
Yeah, Viego works nicely with kind of what they want to do right now. You got two really powerful kind of brawler mages in the front line. Swain has he's kind of like battle mage, but he kind of just walks in there a little bit more than other battle mages do. But Galio definitely just sends himself straight in there. He's melee, so we're going to see probably pretty heavy engage here from SUNY, and the Viego, if he gets a lead, is going to be pretty scary, because it's going to be harder to get to him with Swain and Galio up in there. But I did forget to mention the Varus goes pretty well with the Lulu as well. And I was kind of not hinting at that, but I was like, I know SNHU kind of has been dusting off the Varus.
Yeah, that's been something that we've seen a lot in the last few games that we've seen here on stream. But we got our first picks done with, going into our second bans now. And we're going to see these are really looking to try and block out some really core parts of these compositions they've already got going at the moment.
Yeah, Pantheon would be just absolutely devastating.
I mean, it's just even more of the same good thing they're already going for, right? Engage tankiness. If you get him on the team, he's going to be pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and another thing that's kind of a theme with this team that they got going here on SUNY is the Pantheon would be able to ult with the Galio, or the Galio could ult after the Galio. Yeah. So Viego is going to be getting a lot of assistance with that Pantheon, so that could have been something that SUNY was looking at or has experience with in the past that SNHU actually ended up scouting and banning.
Kennen ban, I think, is always solid. I don't think there's really ever a bad time to ban Kennen, especially if you're looking at the Swain, you're saying like, okay, we're not really sure if he's going top, especially at this point. Kennen would be really great at just stopping the engage, as well as just that sort of rapid fire gas pedal kind of playstyle that SUNY are playing with here. The Vex ban will be the final ban for Potsdam, which is a champ that SNHU has played a lot recently.
Yeah, and it would shut down kind of another option
Of anti-engage,
of
right?
anti-engage,
Yeah.
yeah. But we're going to see that Lissandra for the mid lane there, and they're actually going to give the counter pick to the top lane, which is interesting. I think SUNY just needs to pick the bot right now, and actually, I don't really know where Galio or Swain is dedicated because they're both kind of flex.
Yeah. Silas.
Wow.
Okay. I
Okay,
mean,
that
is
doesn't help.
Silas top still? Silas top is still a thing, right? So that's still another flex that you can see show up here. And then it just comes down to their final pick, which will probably be an ADC.
Right.
Like, it probably will be, but
It
we
could be
could
Swain 80s.
we could go a little crazy. Yeah, we could get some kind of like double support thing going on in the bot lane. It's more likely than you think. We saw it on Friday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we saw fasting Senna, which you never see anymore. So it. Okay. I know where everyone is. So
All right,
it's
break
gonna be,
it down for me.
It's going to be Quinn in the top lane.
Okay.
It's going to be the Silas in the mid lane, Viego in the jungle, Galio support, and Swain ADC. Which Swain ADC is a lot better than you think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Swain's always been really strong. Like, if he's able to get money and he's able to get hyperfed, he's crazy strong.
Yeah.
He will just run at you, and you won't be able to kill him fast enough because he just has too much health, and too much damage resistance. Urgot is the final pick for SNHU White. Now, Urgot looking to go in the top lane for sure. I think SNHU's team composition is definitely a lot more orthodox. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Just kind of play what works in a way. And there's Lissandra and Urgot aren't really two characters that we see that often here on stream. So that's a pretty cool thing for them to pick up right there at the end.
Yeah, I think that Urgot is going to harass the Quinn a little bit more, and that's kind of what they're going for, which is a little weird because both of them don't really have their usage in team fights, so we might see a little bit of side lane action going on, which I don't know if. I mean, both of them are pretty good at going on these 4v4s, but I feel like with the Galio, they just have a little bit more of widespread pressure.
Yeah, that's kind of a global front line that you can have anywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly where you want it. So that is a really nice thing for them to have. Definitely, I think that global presence will really help out when these 4v4 team fights, like these sort of smaller skirmishes, break out because they are a little bit less predictable than 5v5s.
Right.
4v4s kind of just pop out of nowhere. Usually people trickle in and out, and I think that Galio being able to jump in from no matter where he's at is also great.
Which is why I think maybe picking a counter pick to shut down the Quinn and also fight with the 5 would be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But the side lane can just work perfectly for the Urgot because he gets 4 items and it's kind of just really hard to deal with them at all.
Yeah. Well, both of these compositions look pretty solid. We'll have to see how things shape up after this short break as we wait for the spectator delay to kick in. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 1, SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hello and welcome back as we're going to go into game number 1 of the night, SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. Let's go ahead and hop in and check out the start of game number 1 of our best of 3 set tonight.
An interesting draft from both of them coming out here, but we're going to see a little bit of a 5 spread across both teams, pretty sure it looks like. We are going to see some vision coming out from J4 as he rotates over towards his blue side, probably clearing for a level 2 gank towards the bot, maybe. Or even, I mean, full clearing isn't, out of the question for J4.
Yeah.
He still can full clear, but Viego is starting red side and probably will full clear towards top side.
And is Viego versus J4, who's going to go for the earlier gank in that kind of situation?
So I think J4 has a lot more potential for that in most aspects. He hits this level 2 and he has that combo immediately, right? So it's definitely an option for him earlier than it is for Viego. And Viego doesn't really come online until he gets a little bit more items in his pocket, so he might be trying to actually get that gold that Jarvan doesn't really need as much to succeed early.
We'll see early on, especially as these teams just start interacting with each other. In terms of sort of pushing out lanes and lane priority, I'm looking at the bot lane mostly, ADC matchup, the support matchup. Who are we expecting to be more aggressive in this kind of situation?
So until Swain really hits level 6, I feel like SNHU's bot lane has more DPS and wins the longer trades. But when Swain hits that level 6, I feel like it's going to be really anyone's game. They do have that Ignite coming out and a nice E knockup on Showy Cult. Along with the taunt is just an extended amount of CC. The cleanse coming out, but the first blood will go there to Wax.
We'll see. They're going in for a second one. They're not going to find too much more off of that.
Risky.
Plague Doc has to back off before he dies, but still an incredibly early pickup there for SUNY, and that is going to really decide the tempo in the bot lane right now, especially as they get the CS lead. Really big that they took out Showy Colt first and they didn't, single out Rarvin.
Yeah, that was definitely a really nice performance there from that bot lane, but Jaspoon getting pretty low here from Delirious. Does not have an Ignite to really finish him off, but I feel like Jaspoon might need to back soon here. Has that teleport, doesn't really want to use it too early without a lot of gold in his pocket, but Eat the Vegans hovering over here around topside. Viego also coming up with no vision on him, is going to be able to try to secure that Scuttle Crab. They just barely miss each other. He comes out on here on Rufo. Eat the Vegans just not going to connect that there. Adamara might come through here. A flash W will connect with Eat the Vegans flashing out of there. That W for the slow, and they might be able to get out of here. Buckle's going to take a little bit of poke there from Rufo, but that's going to be the end of that.
And that's both junglers spending their flash right there. A flash for a flash. Worth noting also that that Urgot did not spend his flash. Out of all 4 people up there, he was the only one who did not flash. So he's going to have that advantage over Quinn for the next few minutes, which is really going to help him out. But at the moment, kind of stuck under turret. He's got to try and dig his way out of here. But doing a good job, but just keeping even in terms of CS at the time being, which is something that goes for all lanes right now. Pretty even so far. No one's really taken a big early lead. Even in the bot lane, where Turtle Wax was able to find first blood onto Showy Colt, still Showy Colt has the CS lead. There was almost no time lost at all in terms of that.
Yeah, it's always a little bit harder to CS on Swain there. So Wax is going to have a little bit harder of a time, and we're going to see Plague Doc actually soak up a little bit of damage to either freeze here or just hold the wave closer for easier farming. It looks like they're trying to hold the wave closer, maybe to set up for a gank as we see Viego rotating down towards bot side.
Yeah. Notably, Eat the Vegans is also going to be in the area, so SNHU's jungler is around if a counter gank is needed, and with Adamara so close nearby, looking like he might be on call soon, but there's no vision to let them know that Viego is that close, and he might just sit around for a little bit. The important thing here is that SNHU has lane priority, and that is going to really stops SUNY from being able to convert anything big down here into a dragon take without sacrificing a ton.
Yeah, but it does look like Eat the Vegans is going to eye that dragon here. Sees the prio and might walk through the lane here to set up for a lane gank or a counter lane gank. Both top laners hitting 6 here. Buckles, this is his power spike. He really could push this here, but we're going to take our eyes towards the bot side here. No vision on the jungler. The root comes out here on Showy Cult. That's exactly what they want. The Ignite going on Plague Doc. He's so low here. Eat the Vegans trying to finish him off. The Ignite will whittle him down there. That root comes out and he gets sucked back in. Adamara going to get that reset. Showy Cult walking in here is going to get a lot of damage on Adamara, but not quite enough, and they will pick up another kill there. Rarvain just going to have to get out of there. A nice play from Adamara.
Yeah, really, really good counter gank right there. And Eat the Vegans, I mean, he just went so deep to finish off that kill. I don't know how worth it was after they got punished like that, and now Dragon potentially going to go the way of SUNY. That's the scary thing about Viego, man. Even when it's early on, you know, he's pre-level 6, he still has his passive, right? If someone dies, he's still going to be able to use it and get those resets, get that just period of intangibility that is so important to his playstyle and just lets him sustain himself through team fights for so long. You really can't let your teammates die around him at any point in the game.
Right, and the only problem with before level 6 is he can't preemptively get out of the form. So if he kills like a support, he's going to be the support for the entire duration of the passive until he picks up another soul. So that's the only problem with Adamara picking up early. But I mean, once he hits that 6, it's just it's an ult reset on top of a full roster of abilities reset. So
yeah. And we're almost there, but most of the players in the game are about to hit level 6. So Ultimate's on the board. It's going to completely change up how team fights go from here on out. SUNY has been able to pick up a good few kills just off of interactions in the bot lane, but we'll see how things go now that they actually, both teams have their actual team fight weaponry up, J-Fork and Cataclysm, and we're going to see plays surrounded or centered on that, as opposed to pre-level 6, where SNHU kind of are just trying to survive until they hit a spike later on.
Yeah, playing around these spikes is probably the best way here, but they have that level 6 on Showy Cult. Walking up a little close to Plague Doc. I think they might be baiting something here, but they do get that nice root here. The taunt comes out. The cleanse is going to get him out of there. He's not taking that much damage. The root is going to be able to keep Wax there. Somehow the root hits Eat the Vegans there. I don't know how. Plague Doc looking a little low here. He will go down to Showy Cult, and that's going to be a pickup here from SNHU.
A great rotation from SNHU. They already had 2 on the way down to the bot lane when that first engagement happened. And they actually have Delirious just sitting over here in Tribush. Unexpected to be sure. No one would have spotted him on the way down unless he cut through the river. But we'll see as he comes back up towards the mid lane. SNHU making their way up here. Vegans might have gotten tagged, might have gotten seen passing up north.
Whoa.
This is a crazy engage, and Vegans is, I mean, he was already right there. He's going to steal the Lissandra ultimate just to keep himself alive. Vegans backing up. A good rotation from SUNY, and really good play there from Delirious just to keep himself alive through that, because that could have easily gone the other way if he didn't use his ultimate there.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious, just engaging off of like a minion taxi from his E. But he will be able to get that huge healing there from his W and the Lissandra ultimate. So I think that's actually a pretty good pick for him, being able to get that Lissandra ultimate. And they don't have Ignite in this mid lane. So the healing is going to be something that they're going to have to invest gold into probably.
We'll see. Going in again, Just Spoon. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about the Silas ultimate for right now, but he doesn't have his own ultimate either. And Delirious is going to have that lifesteal that he needs to just barely stay alive in these 1v1 engagements. So really not fights that Spoon wants to take on Delirious's terms, which is exactly what Delirious is trying to do. With Vegans coming up, he does have Cataclysm now. He can try and make something work. He has Flash if he really wants to try and get in there quickly, but might just try and wait for Delirious to pull up just a little bit closer as Just Spoon kills the wave that gives him even less and less reason to walk up. Adamara right behind, starting to walk up into Vegans. This could potentially be a very dangerous situation. They know that Adamar is there. Spoon has to try and decide if he wants to bait it, and he will. Delirious goes in, though. Spoon just barely able to escape to get under turret, but doesn't last too much longer. And now Vegans, it's a 4 versus 1. Taunted under the tower. Nothing he can do but just sit there and take it. And that is 2 players down for SNHU back to back. SUNY pulling ahead just slightly in terms of gold, but this Rift Herald in the mid lane is going to spike up their economy even more.
It was a nice conversion there from SUNY to be able to pull all of their members there and be able to just kind of pick a fight and go with it with that Rift Herald here. They're going to be able to put a lot of gold in their pocket and start to really develop a lead that they need right now. But SNHU, as the time ticks by, they are able to get a little bit of pressure in that bot lane, pick up a few platings on this tower, as well as a 20 farm lead here on Showy Cult. So
that's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, the more that they invest in these later game champions, like for example Varus or Lulu, they just gain more value. So
yeah,
you do have like Viego and Swain and Silas and stuff you have to worry about. But the only one that really kind of gets out of hand there towards the late game is Viego. So this Varus could be kind of the ace that SNHU needs to try to maneuver the game in the way that they want it to go. But
they just need to hang in there. And SUNY has been really good so far at just finding exactly what the right buttons to press are, and just really hitting a lot of SNHU's sour spots in terms of just catching people off guard, catching people out of position slightly, getting kills off of small interactions that you shouldn't be letting happen. It's all stuff that SUNY are taking advantage of, and they're just playing very smartly around just trying to bait out mistakes and then punish them. And that has led them to have a pretty consistent sort of lead going forward. SNHU, they have been farming like crazy, which has allowed them to get a little bit of that gold back. But SUNY are still, I mean, they've got bounties on the board. They just picked up another kill onto Spoon right there, and they are slowly just whittling down SNHU's position.
What's crazy is how there hasn't really been a kill in the top lane here between these two top laners, and they're just kind of going at it with pretty even farm. That's the weird part, is normally there's no kills, you're going to see someone kind of dwindling in farm. But it looks like they're pretty even so far. Buckles has a little bit of a lead here, but Quinn has that assist that she's been able to get around the map and really bully other lanes here.
SUNY are going to pick up their second dragon here. And with that, going to bring the Ocean Soul up for this game. We'll see. SNHU so far have had no objective control. So we'll see them start to contest that a little bit more as SUNY close in on the Dragon Soul. But it's things are going pretty strong for them right now, and they are in a good position to be sure. In terms of the Ocean Soul, obviously both teams want it, but which team wants it more?
So SUNY taking these early dragons is going to be very beneficial for them because SNHU should kind of have prio in regard to that. However, it's going to be a little bit because they took Rift Herald, right? In a nice little fight coming out here from Delirious and Just Spoon. They are going to be able to pick up a shutdown, and that goes to Eat the Vegans, which is going to be pretty nice for him to kind of convert it around the map there. But as I was saying, they got the Rift Herald and the Dragon, which isn't exactly what you want to see all the time. You want to kind of like trade one for the other.
Right.
They come up kind of around the same time, so it's easy to pressure the map where they're not. So that's kind of the trade-off that you give there towards that part of the game. But they are able to pick up both of those. Having two dragons, SNHU really kind of has to pick up their pace here with in terms of contesting these dragons, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a big issue for them right now, objective control, but we will see an engagement down in the bot lane. Showy Colt actually surprisingly not taking all that much damage, but will get a pretty nice chunk off of Plague Dock right there. Turtle Wax starting to go in, but not able to find too much. He's going to pop that Lulu ult just to keep Showy Colt alive. A lot of damage suddenly coming in, and that Galio ult isn't going to find anything too much, just barely short on that arrow. That could have very easily taken down that Galio.
Yeah, I think that was just a bit of a fight coming out here. Eat the Vegans will be taken down there by
Yeah.
Delirious. That was a nice pickup hit there from Delirious walking into the jungle.
And there's not a better ult, I would think. You know, like when I see a J4 on the opposite team and I'm playing Silas, I'm thinking I just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
If I'm able to get Cataclysm, it is going fantastic. And Buckles is just going to get run down in his own home right now, right in between his two turrets. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of grim here. But, I mean, that's what happens when you put so many players up top lane there. There's not a lot you can do about it. It's really up to SNHU to try to find value in other parts of the map.
They need to be able to actually stop SUNY from just deathballing around the map. They need to, like you said, find value somewhere else because they can't fight them head-to-head at the moment. And if SUNY just keep forcing these 3 versus 1 engagements, eventually they're just going to make their way over the finish line by happenstance.
I like the way that the fights have been going here in the bot lane for SNHU, so I'm kind of excited in that regard where they're going to be able to pick up more gold for them.
Okay.
But it looks like Delirious here is going to get caught out here by Eat the Vegans. A nice ultimate coming out, so much healing. They're going to need that Grievous, but does he
gets
get out
away
with the
that is
Cataclysm?
crazy.
Oh my god. Delirious is going to be getting away with robbery today. But on the other hand, a nice fight coming out here in the bot lane. The ult comes out on Showy Kill. The Root is going to just get him away there, I think. Eat the Vegans coming here for the rescue.
What a savior, man.
He's going to be able to block that. And nice little E going to pick up a kill from Wax there.
Unfortunately, they couldn't bring him home. They just got to try and get out without losing too much more. And Turtle might pick up another one right here, especially with Delirious on the flank. Vegans now trying to retreat, will be able to escape. But SUNY are just finding value after value in these encounters, and it is really causing them to stack up a lead right here. Buckles might find a good engagement, but just so much damage coming out quickly from this Quinn, and nothing that he can do but try and run away, and you're not going to be able to run away from a Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn, has that potential to chase you down there, but
it's just so sticky.
Yeah, was able to get that nice flash off there and dodge that ultimate, which is kind of one of the flaws of Urgot. If you're able to dodge that ult, it's kind of hard for him to really finish you, but he is able to if he is close, which Quinn is not. But a nice deal of the ultimate is going to be able to keep Just Spoon there for a pretty long time. The team's engaging here. A nice ultimate coming out from that Galio, but looks like Rufo will fall there. Spoon going to just barely live with that ultimate, and they're still looking here. A teleport coming out. They could kind of maneuver this in a way beneficial for SNHU, but
it's so sad to see it when Lysandra uses her own ultimate because she gets so much less health than Silas does when Silas uses her ultimate. It's so sad to see it. He used it and I was like, really? That's all it healed for? Silas is getting like 60% of his health back.
Silas has so much healing with this W there. Lysandra has to get out of here. Adamara is going to be able to pick up another kill there, and they might be able to just walk to this dragon uncontested.
Yeah, SNHU are pretty far outside of the Dragon Pit right now, down a player as well. Really trying to contest this would just be an attempt to try and suicide on it, and maybe you get to steal it with your smite. Not exactly what SNHU are looking for right now. They need to start plugging the holes on their sinking ship, not making more. So I like the safe play more, but it's just a 5-minute buffer window because SUNY are going to go for the next dragon the moment it pops up, and then you're going to have a fight over the Dragon Soul. Rift Herald pushing down mid as well could complicate things even more, especially if they take down this inhibitor in this push, which could be a little bit difficult, but if SUNY just keep deathballing, if they keep running at SNHU, it would be pretty hard for SNHU to withstand that without folding a little bit.
Yeah, it's a possibility. They got 5 on 4 here. A nice root coming out on Just Spoon. Will he get out? A nice ultimate from that Urgot steal from Silas. It's going to pick up a double kill here for SUNY.
And that inhibitor turret is pretty low, but SUNY just don't have the gas to push any further. They're going to get their 2 kills. They're going to back out. They are not going to give up these shutdowns, and that is so smart from them to not give these up. Because the moment that the power players on SNHU start to get some money in their pockets, things are suddenly looking very questionable for SUNY. They have a winning position, but it's a fragile one. They cannot give it up. SNHU have a lot of ways to make money right now. SUNY just have to keep laying on the pressure.
Yeah, I think they had, I mean, they had a little bit of value on other parts of the map. I'm pretty sure Buckles was able to pick up a little bit of farm, but it's just really hard to play around the way that SUNY is kind of playing right now.
Yeah.
When you're just desperately trying to get back into the game in other ways. So when they kind of create those threats and like ask your team questions, like, are you going to bring 5 to match me here with my Rift Herald play? It's like those questions that just get really out of hand really quickly. But it looks like Delirious is going to come in here. The Galio ult is going to be able to secure a lot more pressure here. Rarvane going to get rooted there. Has to use the ultimate on herself, but Delirious will be able to pick up that kill there.
It is crazy the way that SUNY just collapse on exactly who they need to. You see Delirious start to go into that teleport. Immediately Galio is on him. That is some really great coordination right there. And with Rarvane down only for 10 more seconds, but that does give them a little bit of breathing room. They might try and go for Baron here while it's a 5 versus 4.
SNHU has to try to contest this somehow. I feel like this could be spelling the end of the game for them here, but it looks like they're doing their best to lay on this poke, and it is going pretty well for the most part there. That ultimate coming out here from Showy Call, and a nice pickup there from Buckles, but it won't be very long-lived there. He's going to go golden there. Delirious is going to be safe, and they will be able to pick up Showy Call. Just Spoon just holding on, but it won't be for very long there. And they will be able to convert back onto the Baron now.
Yeah, they're gonna get to walk home with this. SNHU only 1 alive, about 10k gold down. That difference about to become bigger, but hey, they did just claim an objective bounty. They got the mid turret. They got the tier 1 mid turret in the middle of that fight. So there's a small victory in there. You know, a very brave minion took out that turret, but. For SUNY right now, all they need to do is just not slip up. If they keep playing like this, SNHU are going to have a real tough time unless they really can find a huge opening.
Well, closing out the games, you know, is always one of the harder parts of the game.
It can
sometimes.
be. Yeah.
It can be pretty difficult to know your limits and how much time you have to actually hit the turrets and how much health each of the ones have, because Nexus turrets have less for some reason. So, you know, it's really down to whether or not SUNY has the courage to step up to all of these turrets here. And it looks like they're kind of forming up here as 5. They might have a split or not, but I'm pretty sure Buckles is going to be in the side here. He might need to regroup here with his team, which we might see in a second.
Wax is pretty far out and doesn't have teleport or anything, so he's pretty much out of this fight entirely. It's just a 3 versus 4 up here, and we will see SUNY starting to push out all these lanes, which is I think the intelligent play. And actually Buckles gets caught out up in top by Turtle, and that is going to be
Rufo.
Rufo is going to be able to pick that up. The rest of SUNY is starting to back out here, but the important thing is, well, 1, they got this kill. 2, all of these lanes are pushed up, and the dragon's up in 20 seconds, and it's soul point.
Right, so closing out this game, what you got to do is you kind of have to let these cannon minions just provide the pressure that you need to hurt the turrets, because you have more people than SNHU on the map right now. So they can't really push you off unless they have some kind of poke composition. So what they really need to do is let these cannon minions do their work. Delirious is going to be able to get another kill there on Eat the Vegans. And then after you let these cannons do their work, you're going to walk back to that Baron. Sorry, Dragon.
It's coming up in just a second. So SUNY, I mean, still just finding value here, but that is one of the ways that you see teams end games a lot. They continue to stack up like lost conditions, right? Until eventually you just crumble under it, right? Like, oh, you have minions pushing into your base, and also they are Baron minions, and we're just going to have 1 or 2 people stay around that are super statted up, and you can't kill them. But actually, SNHU, a 4 versus 2 right now could be what they need, but the Galio shows up. Plague Doc on the scene. Delirious able to escape. Turtle Wax also backing out. It's a double kill. Plague Doc doesn't even go down for it. Where's the trade? Turtle Wax barely staying alive. SNHU can't close out these kills, and he's going to eat them up. That is going straight for the Nexus right now. It's just Vegans able to defend, and those turrets are going to go down way too fast. Just too much oncoming damage to try and stop this. Here's SUNY. What a commanding lead in this first game. Almost a 20k gold lead. That is huge. That is an incredible lead that they have had right here, and this is a best of 3 set, so SNHU are going to get the chance to revise things, to go back into their draft, to take another look at exactly what in SUNY's composition was really messing them up, and maybe get a chance to just talk about it. A pep talk can really change the game completely, but SNHU, they need to figure out something in between this break, because SUNY, wow, that is a strong team. And maybe it's just in the bans. Maybe you just ban a few target characters and the whole thing crumbles. But we'll have to see as SNHU take the next draft in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for game number 2 very soon. Hello and welcome back to SNHU Esports as we get ready to go into our second draft of the night. SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. Pretty strong showing from SUNY in the last game, so hopefully SNHU can pull out a pretty good draft here to really try and shake things up, because I think that is where a lot of issues lay.
Yeah, I think they got a really good pick there. Towards the second round of picking, they were able to pick Silas, which just really shuts down a lot of champions in SNHU's arsenal, like Lysandra or Varus, able to get those ults. But at the same time, I was kind of wondering if that's what they were trying to pick from the beginning, because they picked that Swain.
Right.
Actually, no, wait. They would have wanted them to pick the Swain because I don't know.
That is a good ultimate. Let's go ahead and hop into draft and see exactly what Take Two looks like here for these teams. SNHU White still going forward with the Gangplank and the Gwen bans. Seem to be pretty set on those.
Yeah, and I think for that first pick, just having that Ornn band, it puts a little bit more pressure on what they're going to do for their top lane there, or if they're going to play for topside at all. So, it could
the hover.
The
hover.
It looks like the Teemo hover there. Gonna take that Silas out. Not gonna let them be able to run that again.
It always does feel a little bad when you have to ban Silas, because you could just draft a composition that isn't like ultimate reliant, kind of like that. But sometimes you just kind of have to play around like what your champ pool looks like, and if Silas needs to go, Silas needs to go. All right, that SNHU's composition, that was probably the biggest weakness, is that there was like 4 good ultimates for Silas to pick up on, and I think he used pretty much all of them across that entire game.
Yeah, and I think they're a pretty big fan of having that Lysandra in the mid, but it could very easily be a Swain. In the mid there, or top, or support, or ADC.
Picking up Swain is nice because you don't have to ban it. That's always a nice thing. Is when it's like, oh, we have first pick, and I don't really want to ban a character they played. I can just play it.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily worry about it as much, and it's essentially like a free little 4th ban. But we'll see. SUNY looking to pick up the Nautilus again. Or I think the Nautilus got banned last time, right. So this one was able to slip through.
Yeah, SNHU did ban that Nautilus, but now we might see another bot pick here to go with that Nautilus, or a jungler perhaps. But I'd really like to see what they're going to pair with that Nautilus, because it kind of looks like an aggressive lane that Nautilus will kind of be able to...
That's interesting.
Okay.
That is an interesting pick. And we're going to see potentially a Zac pick as well from SNHU. The Twisted Fate is interesting because, as from my understanding, Twisted Fate is not in an extremely strong position right now. He's a little bit on the weaker side. So seeing him pop up here, I mean, he is an organized play character. That's kind of his thing.
I think SUNY really likes the global pressure, kind of like
for sure,
with those champions. But Twisted Fate has been able to get a little bit more play, being able to use the items a little bit better. I think he got a buff somehow, and he is able to build his items that he wants now. Like, he can go Ludens into Lichbane if he wants now, rather than Rapid Fire Cannon. So we could see that, but we are going to see a Nyla here come out from SNHU, which is a really nice pick into a lot of the champions that you want to pair with Nautilus here, as well as Twisted Fate. So Nyla all around the board is pretty strong. I don't think she got nerfed, and she shuts down a lot of ADCs. I think Jinx might struggle a little bit into the Nyla, but...
It's a really confident pick into Nyla, picking Jinx.
It's really dependent on the support, I feel like. So if that Nautilus is able to really shut down Nyla before she's actually able to get her whole thing up, her W, then it's going to be tough for her to actually function in lane.
Second wave of bans coming up. SUNY going to take out Lux to start with, just to get Lux out of the support lane if possible. And we'll see SNHU try and fire back a little bit. I'm really interested to see if they pick more targeted bans towards what we saw last game from SUNY, or if they continue to go with the same thing they have been, which we're going to see the Maokai ban come up first. So not a champ that was in the last game. It seems like SNHU might be pretty confident just taking out the Silas and seeing how things play out like that.
Yeah, and we're gonna see a couple more. It's weird how they're having these supports banned, because I feel like with Nyla, she kind of wants those enchanters a little bit more. So banning the weird like engaged supports that I'm pretty sure Rarvane plays, like Zyra Lux and stuff like that, isn't really going to work out, because I don't think SNHU wants to pick that in the first place.
And the Malphite ban as well, just to trim up the top lane. It seems to be top lane is a big target for bans overall, which it can be. It can cause some things to slip through if you're really focusing in on top lane, just because top lane is an island, and it does it's important for objectives like Rift Herald and things like that. But when you ban a lot for top lane, it doesn't impact early game team fights all that much. Which we'll see exactly how this works out. So you're going to go for Kayn, and that is a pretty remarkably slower jungler than Viego.
Yeah, it's he definitely doesn't like scale as much as Viego, but his clear is like probably one of the fastest in the game. He just clears super duper fast. So especially once he starts getting those items, it's just ridiculous clear. So he can really be around the map wherever he wants, providing a lot more pressure.
He's just not going to be a powerhouse really until a little bit into the game.
If you counter gank him, you can probably shut him down.
Yeah. Urgot looking to be picked up again for SNHU. I mean, I like it. It's a self-sufficient, pretty independent top laner. You don't have to worry about supporting an Urgot too much. Urgot can kind of just walk down lane and do pretty fine. He can take 1v1s in a pretty good way.
Yeah, he can really offer that strong side lane that you want. But when it comes to like the team fight potential, he doesn't really offer a whole lot. So you're really banking on kind of having a, easier lane, and SUNY does have the counter pick for the top lane. So of course you're gonna get hit with like something like Lilia that's gonna run around you.
Right. For SNHU, I mean, I think their team fight is already strong, even without having a sort of team fighty top laner. Swain, Zac, Nilo, Lulu, that's a pretty good team fight composition in and of itself. I think that can be pretty decent. With Urgot, being a top laner that contributes a little bit less to team fights, that seems to be fine for SNHU's composition, as far as I'm concerned. But for Potsdam here, it really is some kind of wild card picks. For like you have Twisted Fate, you have Lilia. These are picks that are interesting. I think the Twisted Fate pick is really fun. Yeah. I think I really like that. Because
I would have liked to see a Shen in the top lane from SNHU. Would have just kind of like brought this all together and gave us a really interesting game.
Yeah, that is kind of the big issue when you look at SUNY and you look at how they played last game. The global pressure was so huge for them because they had their Silas teleporting around all the time, and then Galio would always just be able to hop in directly where he's at. That's going to be something that Twisted Fate is able to do and to contribut with that.
And they have the Quinn roaming too, so it kind of does solve the problem of the way that they want to play here, at least for SUNY. But also it's just a decent first pick. Yeah, as the top lane.
I agree.
Into a Twisted Fate too. So.
I really like SNHU's team composition this time. I think that this could potentially be something that really helps them sort of figure out exactly what went wrong in the last game. And I think Potsdam are playing a pretty different composition this time, so they're not really hedging their bets all on exactly what they played last time. They're willing to try something else out here. So this could be something where SNHU maybe find a little bit of an unexpected sort of in here, playing against basically a completely different composition from Potsdam. It'll be interesting to see as the game kicks off. But we are going to throw to a quick break while we wait for the spectator delay to catch up. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for game number 2. Hello and welcome back to SNHU Esports. As we're going to go into game number 2 of the night, SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. We looked at the draft beforehand, and for SNHU, I like their composition here, and SUNY have changed things up a lot. Hopefully it's enough for SNHU to try and find a little bit of an in here, because the first game was kind of rough.
Yeah, an aggressive invade there coming out from SUNY here into Snooze 5 point. They will get some vision here. I feel like they want a ward on the Raptors there. But SUNY will be able to get that ward on the red buff, kind of determine where Ether Vegans is going to start here on the map and kind of gauge how they play these lanes from that. Maybe. In an ideal world.
Yeah, right. We'll see SUNY not really doing that kind of standard spread, but maybe potentially looking to try and find something here. That was a brave walk into Tribush. I'm proud of Showy Cole for taking that first step, because that Tribush could have very easily had a Nautilus in it.
Right, Nautilus and Jinx. That would have been pretty scary there. The Nautilus does not have Flash, but neither does Rarevein, as they were traded there in that early exchange with the invade.
We'll see. No early invade shenanigans going on. Pretty standard stuff as usual. And this is pretty much how the first game went if you missed it. Very much kind of a slow and reserved playstyle from SUNY. Really just trying to not make mistakes and trying to capitalize a lot on their opponent's mistakes. So you might see SUNY play pretty far back. I think their composition is pretty good for this, just playing it slow and steady and safe. SNHU are definitely kind of in the position here to try and find some early value.
I'm not sure if they saw that, but they had that ward there. I mean, you don't really normally put a ward there, but it might have been Eat the Vegans putting a ward there. He's going to be able to catch seeing Kane walk into his jungle there.
Yeah.
So they know he's on his red side here. So I'm wondering what Eat the Vegans might do with that information, perhaps.
Well, it looks like he's going to go up to red side jungle or potentially go for this gank.
Yeah, Twisted Fate doesn't really have a lot of options to get people off of him. The card is kind of slow unless you're really good at reacting to it, but there's a gank coming out there, and Adamar coming off the Krugs is going to be able to walk in this bot lane. A little bit of damage coming off on Delirious, but it kind of just looks like Showy Cult and Rarevein were able to really just get out of there pretty easily. I think they used that exhaust from the Lulu.
Yeah, Adamar came from behind right there, but didn't really find too much. There was not a huge push to engage there from SUNY. Just kind of going down to sightsee for Adamara, and he's going to return back to his side of the jungle. Mid lane very, very low, and the thing is here, this is not a Silas Lysandra lane anymore. Both of these characters are very easily killable at this point in the game.
Yeah, they both have the ability to try to just kill each other here. It looks like Rufo is going to take a lot of damage. Perhaps an E combo there from Buckles coming out. And meanwhile, Eat the Vegans is setting up a lane gank here. Adamara is in the distance there, ready to come in here. He is so close to Wax there and Plague Doc.
Yeah, I'll say the jungle tracking from these teams has been pretty good so far. That ward is going to spot him out, but I feel like we almost always see the junglers in the same space, and he commits to it anyway, even with the slow Vegans. Going to try and back out Showy Colt now on the receiving end of all of this incoming fire. He's going to go ahead, he's going to be able to back out here. Those rockets just doing a little bit of a concerning amount of splash damage, but Vegans is on his way out. No one from SNHU down, and that is a very, very important thing. SUNY had already found first blood by this point in the first match, so SNHU are doing a much better job at withstanding the tempo.
Yeah, and it's 0-0 here. They're going pretty even on their farm there. It looks like SUNY will just take a little bit of a lead there, and it might be partly because Kane is able to just clear a little bit quicker than Zach here and pick up some of his camps on his side. So that's kind of the way that you have to play as Kane into Zach, because you're not going to really provide as much gank potential as Zach. Zach doesn't really need as much gold to do that. So Kane really needs to be able to pick up these invades here a little bit more cash.
This is troubling.
Yeah, flash coming out there from Just Moon. Adamara following soon behind with this flash of his own for a first blood there.
That's a really, really big flash for Adamara. Able to find value off of that. We'll get him some of the blue cane juice.
Blue cane juice.
Yeah, so he's gonna with that being his first blood, he's gonna be kind of skewed towards that for a little bit, unless he finds too much value in other lanes. We'll see if exactly he's looking for.
Grab.
Nice little grab. Just find some damage there.
He's coming back swinging there. Just Spoon just showing him what he's really made of there, but Plague Talk being so sneaky in this bush here.
They have to know he's there, right?
There's a flash. There's a flash for it coming out. Oh, maybe not. They might know, or
just let him.
looking for
I guess just let him walk away. No big deal. Look, SUNY, if they don't think they'll get a kill off of it, they won't engage. That has kind of been their MO these last 2 games, is just do not overextend. Don't overcommit to anything unless you are confident in it. And it's worked out for him pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely has. And as they are able to pick up a couple of plating here, it's really up to what goes on after. They could back here. I think, is it a cannon wave? Not sure. It might be a cannon wave. But they're going to be able to just pick up a little bit more gold on top of those platings. They have a 20-ish CS lead. Ooh, the card comes out here, and the engage goes out onto Delirious. It could be pretty troubling.
Oh, yeah. He's dead. He is so dead. And Just Spoon is going to get to pick up a kill of his own, get a little bit more money in SNHU's mid lane. That'll buff him up for a good bit. And we were talking last game as well about how Swain can really, really carry once he gets some money.
Are they going to catch this wave? They backed on the cannon and bought tier 2s, but it's a long lane. I'm wondering if they're actually going to be able to get to this cannon before it does.
SNHU they're trying to shove it in as fast as they can, so we'll see. It might not die to the turret in time. They're already back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it looks like a nice.
That's some big damage.
Yeah,
that is some big damage. Adamara in the bot lane as well.
Oh, they got the cannon. They did get to it. They're smart little cookies. They're buying that tier 2.
They're nowheres.
They are nowheres.
They are nowheres. Adamara just making a little cameo down there before he starts to make his way over towards Dragon. And we'll see some pings from SNHU around the area as well. But really, really nice pick off there in the top lane. Ruifu going down, and Buckles getting ahead is great because when you're in lane with an Urgot that's ahead of you, it is so oppressive. So for SNHU, that is a really strong side lane that they're establishing.
Yeah, and having that Lilia ahead, the Urgot ahead there, is going to be able to provide a little bit more pressure in these earlier fights. Like, Urgot doesn't really, do that much in a team fight unless you're kind of already have that lead, right?
Yeah.
If he gets this teleport onto like a dragon fight or something and is able to get like a 2-man fear or something, that could be a fight game changing basically for the fight there.
But he has to find those executes. That's the big thing.
Yes, someone has to get low enough first.
Yeah, they really need to focus fire here. So that's going to be a big communication point in these team fights here, seeing whether or not they're able to burst someone down fast enough for that Urgot to find value. Because otherwise, like you said, it'll be kind of difficult for him.
And right now, it kind of looks like they're just being really careful with the Twisted Fate in the mid lane, just pinging him a lot, keeping tabs on him because he does have that ultimate. It's not up right now, but in the future.
It will be soon.
Yeah. It's something you really got to watch out for. But luckily, SNHU looks like they're keeping their side lanes pretty tucked up close to their towers. They're able to really... Ooh, that stun is going to come out there from the pool. And they are going to be able to get a little bit of blue juice.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to see a blue cane here, unless he chooses to go otherwise. But just the damage he's been getting so far, very much skewing towards blue.
I feel like he's probably aiming towards that or just trying to open up the options because every other person he can hit other than Marvin is going to give him red juice.
That's true, yeah.
So
he has been putting a lot of pressure on mid, so it's been working out for him if that is his goal. We'll see him start to pivot down towards the bot lane, but Vegans is already down there and potentially looking for an opportunity to find a gank, and they don't have any vision in the bot lane either.
Yep. It does kind of look like he's building towards that Umus too on that cane, but they aren't really going to see the Zac here, and it's a deceptive range. It could probably hit that red cannon there. The engage
There's
comes
the
out from
bridge.
Plague Doc, and a nice knock-up here. Shoeiko going to get an ult from
Really
Lulu and
nice.
himself. A nice AoE. Turtle Wax is falling there. Talk is going to die. It's a double kill there from the Nyla, which is perfect for SNHU.
And Adamara just backs out, doesn't overcommit to that. A really nice two-piece there from SNHU. Vegan's just going in just to flex a little bit, but going to drop that Rift Herald as well. And if this turret takes a good bit of damage here, Adamara is suddenly in a questionable position. But that turret armor is really big, so not going to do too much. We'll get some nice little change there for the bot laners, though.
Right, it's going to be that first Herald there. Not too much damage, but they are going to get just so much gold onto that Nyla. And now Nyla's pretty much matching the farm of Jinx with a 150 gold shutdown.
Yeah.
So she's going to get pretty dangerous pretty fast here.
We'll see. Nyla, in terms of engage, right, is she really looking to go in first, or is that going to be something that's more relegated towards Eat the Vegans on Zac? Looking to try and find those openings.
It really depends on what kind of a fight it is. Like, if it's a skirmish, especially a 2v2 between these two bot lanes,
Right.
it's going to be Eat the Vegans. Shoeiko going in first. But otherwise, it's mostly Eat the Vegans looking for that engage, trying to just set something up here, and on top of Eat the Vegans is going to be Shoeiko. He's going to get in there, try to get that AoE with the Lulu knockup, and it's just a huge amount of stun and damage.
That's just potentially the issue I could see potentially bottlenecking SNHU in terms of their late game engages, is that Eat the Vegans is really the one that's got like a super strong hard engage, whereas on SUNY you're looking at not only the Nautilus, but you've also got the Lilia, who can just kind of poke at you and roll the bowling balls at you that make you fall asleep, and then someone just walks up and does like triple damage. No big deal.
Yeah, Lilia is tricky to play with because you kind of got to respect her stacks there. She can kind of just run circles around you. But it's also kind of tricky because if you're playing as Lilia and you want to keep those stacks up, you're probably going to do a lot of wave damage, which is going to, push towards them when you really want to play that long lane, like we just saw Ruifo do.
We'll see in the bot lane as well. SNHU establishing this lane priority really hard right now, and with the Mountain Drake coming up, could potentially be an opportunity from the pivot down, especially with Eat the Vegans already making his way over towards the Dragon Pit. It looks like SNHU are going to start to make their way up there as well. We'll see SNHU really vying for early objective control this game, because that was something that caught them in the last ones. They didn't have the sort of composition or the game state to really contest a lot of objectives early on, and that kind of led to a snowball. So they're definitely conscious of that, and they're playing around that. They are making sure that for every value everything that SUNY finds that is of value, SNHU finds something equal, which has been pretty good for them so far. They found Rift Herald earlier when SUNY found the first dragon. SNHU have been playing a lot more kind of evenly around the map instead of really struggling on the bot side.
Yeah, it looks like it's a standstill here between these two junglers here, just waiting for one each other. Actually, wait, no, they have vision on Adamara. They're waiting for this counter gank here. I don't think they have vision of Eat the Vegans, but might have a sneaking suspicion.
A ward just died there. So
the ultimate coming out from Delirious. Gonna get that gold card, and the teleport coming through from Spoon. He might be able to get into this fight here. Has that ultimate. A nice chunk of damage on Adamara. He will fall there. Plague Dog soon to follow. A shutdown is gonna go to Jinx there, but not for long. Gonna pick up that double kill, and Wax it might be able to get out, but that's 3 kills there for SNHU.
Really, really clean engagement from SNHU, finding exactly what they needed to, and they did lose Shoeiko, which is always unfortunate to lose your ADC in these early team fights because they're finding less gold from them, and that's really important. And also that shutdown went out, but for SNHU, they were able to find a huge gain off of that. And a lot of that went on to Spoon as well. So that's even more money going towards the mid laner, even more money going towards your Swain, who's just going to scale super hard.
Yeah, and Swain, I mean, can just kind of be in the fray, right? And just soak up so much damage too as well as dealing it. but it's going to be hard for SUNY to play into this Nyla, I feel like. And they did get that shut down onto the Jinx. Jinx is going to pick up that Kraken Slayer, but what good is that third auto if you can't really hit it on Nyla when she's dodging your autos? So I think the favor lies in SNHU's hands right now.
Something interesting is that Adamura hasn't transformed yet. Is that? I feel like that's a little under par on time. Is he waiting for red?
He could have gotten the wrong form there, which he probably got red form by hitting all these melees here.
Yeah.
Just the majority of the damage going onto the melees, but a nice fight breaking out here. The Drowsy will go on to Rufo, but a nice pickup from Buckles. They will be able to secure 2 more kills along with Rift Herald.
Yeah, getting both Rift Heralds is so nice, as well as independently getting the first turret down in the bot lane. SNHU are finding some pretty big value right now, and that Rift Herald is going to open up the top side of the map as well. Suddenly they have to worry about both sides, and Buckles is going to split push even harder, which we'll see. This Rift Herald's probably not going to make it to the second turret, but it's going to be a little bit of a race right here.
Yeah, just really trying to take down this turret right now. They will be able to get it. Delirious comes out a little bit late, and he's in a pretty close proximity to this Urgot that he just does not want to be. Goes gold and has that card, but it's a little bit poorly timed there. Buckles will be able to get that kill.
That's unfortunate. That is really sad to see. The turret went down just in time, and Delirious completely defenseless right there, right in front of an Urgot. Not a 1v1 you want to take on many characters.
Flash, ultimate, and stopwatch. That's a lot of, especially unrefundable cooldown. I guess it can build into the Zonias, but an engage coming out from Meet the Vegans will be able to get a jump here on Plague Doc. They might be slowed. A nice slow coming out there. They could probably engage again.
Yeah, they don't have that tier 1 turret, but they're not going to push it. They don't want to push it too far. There could be a whole team waiting in the jungle right there. They don't exactly have vision right now, so not going to get baited into something that they didn't sign up for. They're just going to back off there.
They got their summoner spells, and I guess that's going to be enough for them right now. But
really important thing, despite the difference in kill count, SUNY's doing a great job at keeping even in gold. They are not far behind at all.
Yeah, they definitely are pretty close here, and Ethan Beacon's just all around the map right now. Is going to be able to pick up another gank here, killing Delirious. Kind of feels like SUNY is struggling to really keep up with the tempo of SNHU right now.
Yeah, this is almost an exact inverse of last game, which is really interesting. SNHU finding a super strong and commanding lead early on, and with Dragon coming up soon, going to start to pick this up, start to get some Infernal stacks. SUNY are going to have to try, maybe look to contest this. They're in the area, but the rest of their team is elsewhere. Adamara finally turning into Red Cane is up in the top jungle, so had to wait. I think he definitely got blue form first, and then he had to wait.
Yeah, he definitely got that blue form, and it's kind of interesting how he wants to play red here, but it's probably more of what his team wants. Like, in terms of the composition.
They need a little bit of tankiness.
Yeah.
This mid turret, not looking too long for this world. SUNY going to try and step up just to deal with it. And Shoiko taking so much turret fire there will live. But for how much longer? He's got Kane on him. The ult comes out. He's going to be able to finish that off. And now SNHU suddenly looking in a questionable spot. Justspoon going to get a pretty big pull, though. Plague Doctor not going to last too much longer. Wax on the retreat. Goes down. Adamara falls. Right after that, it's a triple. Justspoon. Not going to be able to find too much more than that unless SUNY step up again, but Justspoon is absolutely content to just try and walk up and make this work. Rufio going in, but immediately tries to retreat right here. Spoon starting to get pretty low. This is scary. Whoa, okay. Yeah, sure, that guy is dead. There is not much you can do about that.
Justspoon styling on Delirious a little bit here.
And they're going to get the mid turret as well. SNHU going to back out of there. Really nice kills that they found right there. SUNY looked like for a second that they were going to be able to flip that fight. But the moment that Justspoon popped his ult, it was like, oh yeah, by the way, this guy's fed. Like, yeah. In case you forgot, this is a Fed Swain ulting on you.
And now Swain has that Rylai's too on top of the Leandre's Torment.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Does not have a ghost, but I feel like we've already seen the usage of this teleport come through quite a couple times here in this game. So it's definitely gotten its fair share of use there compared to a ghost. But I think that's just me,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
ghosts on Swain.
It's I will say, look at the kill participation on Eat the Vegans right now. That is a lot of assists. And that like SNHU really seem to have found their stride right here. It seems like potentially both of these teams might be a little feast or famine. When things are going their way, they're really going their way. But once they start to fall behind, maybe both of these teams have issues in kind of stabilizing.
Yeah, and it looks like they're poising around Baron here. Vision is on Baron, but they're kind of just going to reveal it, telling them to step up here or fight them. And it looks like the ult's going to come out, getting them a lot of vision. The hook coming out onto Rarvane there. Showy Colt just piling in the damage. Buckle's going to be able to pick up a kill. A stun goes out there. It will be enough for a second there. A huge sweep, but covering them. Buckles, again, is going to be able to shred through them. Showy Colt just tearing through the backline, going so low, but the triple kill coming out from Showy Colt. The confidence is going to pull through there.
What a shame that SNHU doesn't have their lanes pushed up right now. They'll have to settle for this Baron, but that is a huge team fight win right here. This is a really pivotal moment in this game for sure. SUNY starting to the gold lead is starting to escape them a little bit right here. SNHU are building up more and more. This Baron is going to let them push up a lot of these lanes, and while a lot of SUNY are coming up off a cooldown right now, respawning in their base, SNHU will be back in just a matter of time, and those waves are going to push really hard.
Right, and with the teleport not that far on Buckle's cooldown there, and Just Spoon also having teleport, they could really pressure a widespread part of this map. And it looks like they're going to go a kind of like 1-3-1, but just mid and top in their respective lanes.
Yeah, and also Dragon comes up in a minute. So when these lanes get pushed out, SNHU are really looking to get priority so that they have to force SUNY and say, like, hey, these minions could, like, realistically kill your tier 2 turrets if you don't stop them, but we're going to get Dragon while you stop them. They can force them into a pretty good situation here for SNHU.
And here they are, kind of just pushing out these lanes and poisoning around this Dragon right now. It looks like SUNY might try to dedicate all 5 to try to contest this here, but also we're going to see Buckles kind of walk down here off map. I think he was out. No, they might have spotted him. I'm not sure, but we're just going to see Rufo kind of match no one here. He might have to teleport to try to match this pressure right now that they have going for this Baron, or just Dragon, or just give it up.
Yeah, they don't really seem like they want to give it up.
No, I wouldn't.
They're very much contesting this, and that is smart, because once a team gets to soul point, they really have a lot of sway over the match, and just trying to force objectives, it can get really, really difficult to deal with. But SNHU are starting the Dragon, burning it down. It's already halfway. SUNY have to step in soon, but it's not in time. SNHU are going to slay the Dragon, and Vegans goes in.
Vegan's a huge knock-up. Wax is just going to try to get out of there. Showy Colt, a huge ultimate. So much damage on that backline. Adamar running for his life. Showy Colt's going to be able to try to pick up another kill here, and it looks like Buckles was able to kill Wax here. Just going in, diving this turret. Going to get another kill. Meanwhile, we got Rufo going to be able to pick up a turret here for SUNY. Was it worth?
No. Absolutely not. SUNY just overstayed a little bit too much. They didn't think SNHU were going to burn down the Dragon that fast, and when they actually were able to kill the Dragon, SUNY were like starting to engage. They were in the middle of engaging when they killed the Dragon. SNHU able to just easily turn that around. Vegan's already ready for it, charging that up. A beautiful little turn there from SNHU, and now they're going to get the chance to really start to pressure some inhibitors here with these lanes that were pushed up that SUNY chose to ignore in favor of going to Dragon.
Yeah, they got like a second left of that Baron buff. Shoryuko going to take so much damage on one. Oh, they are going to get that shutdown on Adamara there, and Eat the Vegans will fall there trying to protect his buddy. And that turret's so close there. But really, I think, there's a time and place for providing that pressure in other lanes there, like we saw. But when it's due, you really got to respect the hustle and the pressure that the other team is putting up too. Like if they have 5 at your inhib turret, you might need to, lay off the gas pedal there and start to deal with the threat that
I think that was maybe just a little bit of SNHU feeling like they were invincible.
I was talking about the SUNY splitting on a Baron power play with Dragono.
Yeah. Objective bounty claimed. SUNY making some nice money off of this. They got 2 shutdowns as well as that turret bounty. They're starting to make good on these, and bounties, before they expire, they might be able to find a little bit more. SNHU, they do have, they're going to be fighting for the next dragon, of course. So that's kind of out of the question for SUNY in terms of these bounties. But right now they just need to kind of play safe, make money, and just sit back and wait until the next fight needs to happen. Don't force it.
And they don't really need to. The ball is kind of in SNHU's court right now to decide what to do. And they ran out of that Baron, but they definitely have a lot more pressure, to dish out here. Buckles might be caught out here. They land that bowling ball, but he's a little far to engage off of a sleep.
Yeah. Really interesting rotation there from SUNY. They're going to try to move over towards the mid lane. Now we just got 2 death balls running around the map at the moment.
Yeah, we could see a fight come out here pretty soon. It's going to be up to, I feel like, Eat the Vegans or Plague Doc if they really want to pull the trigger here. A nice snowball coming out on 3. The sleep won't come out because he's just so preoccupied with Eat the Vegans. A huge knockup coming out. Delirious will fall. Ruifo getting executed here. A flash flea coming out from Buckles is going to pick up 2 more for SNHU.
And it's just Adamara left, the last one standing, trying to hold this down, gets pulled in, is going to pop his ult just to stay alive a little bit longer, but he isn't. This is scary. I mean, even if SNHU don't want to go after him, which he actually just knocked himself back into the entire team, so he's dead. But SNHU didn't even have to go after him. They continue just to push these inhibitors. They're going to walk up. They're going to push the Nexus turrets. All of SUNY are down right now, and SNHU are just going to race the base, take it down, and take game number 2. What an incredible turnaround here from SNHU after the first game.
Yeah, they are going to just shred through that Nexus, taking a game there from SUNY. What an excellent performance from SNHU.
Yeah, really, really crazy turnaround right there. I think if you looked at the first game and then you showed me the second game, I'd be like, these are 2 completely different sets. You just flipped the name tags. That's all that it was. But no, SNHU, they found their stride, and SUNY really struggled to stabilize, just like we saw in the first game, but reversed. So the question is game number 3 going to be both these teams like full power fighting each other, or is it going to be another one of these things where one of these teams kind of starts to fall behind and they never just catch up? It's interesting. Hopefully these teams got a good feel for each other. I want to see a banger game 3, but we're going to throw it to a quick break while we get ready for that. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 3 draft. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to SNHU Esports, where you go into game number 3, SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. Complete tone shift in that second game. SNHU striking back hard.
Yeah, really hard. And they were able to just take that game so decidedly.
Yeah.
And now I'm really just wondering, it's pretty much like anyone's game for this next game for the whole set.
The draft has seemed to decide a lot so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at our draft for game number 3, because these teams really seem to live or die based on how the draft is going in this matchup.
That's true. I feel like it's a couple of champions that they just are really strong on. Like, for example, that Swain that they're going to ban out. The Nyla was pretty scary too. So the Nyla really actually pumped a lot of damage out for their team fights there. And it was a hard pick for, I feel like, SUNY to deal with in terms of the actual laning phase. Like, the Jinx into Nyla was hard for them, I think.
We'll see. The Swain, after 2 games of being represented, is now banned.
Yeah.
SNHU don't feel like bringing him back out this time. Might as well get him out of the way. Silas out as well from game number 1. Still locked away for his reign of terror in that game. We'll see. SUNY have first pick, so they're going to be the ones who kind of decide what both teams are looking for in their composition right here. And so far, for the last 2 games, Swain was first pick. So this is the first time today that we haven't seen Swain first pick. I'm excited. I'm personally thrilled about it.
Yeah, Swain, banned out there. A new pick coming out from SUNY is very, courageous play, I think.
Yeah. Going into the Zac, that is a interesting jungler matchup. How do we feel about that jungler matchup?
So both of these junglers just love just ganking like on repeat, and also have a pretty good clear. Zac's clear is a little bit slower than Nunu, so that's like one of the things that Nunu kind of provides is the fact that he kind of clears well, and he has that extra smite. So his smite's pretty big.
Yeah, he's generally going to be healthier going into his ganks probably. The main difference, he can't go over walls, but he can still roll a ball down the lane pretty quick.
The thing with playing against Nunu is you really got to keep those rivers warded. That's usually where he's going to come through. He could lane gank as well, but as long as you have those river bushes warded, you can usually catch a Nunu gank coming.
And it's not a bad idea to deep ward in river, ward up by Dragon Pit. Keep Pixel Brush warded.
It's not just the mid laner's job. People in the side lanes can also walk that far. But I think that definitely, Nunu is kind of harder to play against without that key vision that you're gonna need in order to spot him out. As long as you're tracking him, it shouldn't be that hard. But the Zac definitely provides a lot more sudden scary engage. His ganks are a little bit more less telegraphed.
So we see the Galio coming out again from SUNY. This is a pick they really liked in game number 1, just because every time they represented sort of had a character with global presence, it worked out really well for them. And we'll see them ban out the Urgot as well, because that has been the top pick for SNHU last 2 games. So maybe potentially trying to see hey, is that a comfort pick? How deep does the champ pool go? Yeah. We'll take this one out real quick, just to get you playing something different.
We might see Ornn just slide through the ban phase here, and that might come out.
SUNY took him out first round. Yeah, they normally they waited until the second round, but they got him first time.
Because there's no way they're gonna spend a first phase pick on Ornn, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. Final ban coming through for SUNY. And for SNHU right now, really looking for top laners and mid laners. So it's going to be targeted towards one of those. Could be the Mordekaiser. So 2 top bans targeted here. For SNHU, I'd be concerned about that. I would be a little bit scared about playing a weak top side if they're really going this hard on the top bans.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like SNHU has the counter pick here, so if they pick that Talia, they're definitely they're gonna give it to the top laner. So I'm wondering if they're have the champ pool to really exploit that, or if they're gonna trying to just shift their focus to a different lane here. They could play topside. It's kind of hard to play topside though.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like a little bit more methodical. I feel like you have to play aggressive in the first place as a top laner, and also provide pressure while taking like kind of safer 4v4 fights without like getting the other top laner involved. So it's kind of like a slow whittle, slow burn kind of fight that you're fighting.
The RE pick comes out. Is that looking into Talia and the Olaf last pick for SUNY?
I'm hearing something about he doesn't have a champ to counterpick him or something.
I don't know. I heard sighs of exasperation when the
After
Olaf got picked. Yeah. That could be a little bit of trouble here. Is this Olaf top? And because Nunu's in the jungle.
Yeah, it looks like an Olaf top, and they're gonna play Kled into that, which I'm not too familiar with that matchup, but
Neither am I. I don't think I've seen someone play Kled in the last 2 years. I
Yeah.
gotta be honest.
Kled has like his niche spot in that regard.
I love Kled. I'm all about this. I'm super down to see this.
My favorite part about Kled is that he's the one champion that has footsteps in the game.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's the only champion that actually has footsteps, because Skarl has a unique footstep from when
super loud
Kled-
footsteps.
Yeah, you can hear him like a dinosaur, like he's a raptor. That's my favorite part of it.
Well,
Actually, sorry, Warwick has footsteps too.
Oh, true. He does. When he's on all fours, yeah.
Yep.
But see, the thing is, I think they saw the Nunu and Willemp, and they're like, I would really like to just run down the lane super fast as a ball.
Yeah.
So they pick Kled for the ultimate, you know? When you see the Nunu ball rolling at you, you just Kled in the other direction.
See ya.
Just try and get out of there as fast as you can. But either way, I am excited to see SNHU play, especially with the Talia and the Kled. Talia we have not seen in a while. We used to have a Talia player on our team, but when they left the team, obviously we haven't seen Talia since. So I'm excited to see it. And this is the final set, or the final game in the set here. So both these teams have had stomps back to back, right? SUNY got the first stomp, SNHU got to stomp the second game. We'll see if the third game is a stomp, or if these teams are going to finally meet each other at eye level. Or if it's just going to be some variation of what's happened before. Either way, should be an exciting conclusion to this set. We'll be back in a few minutes as we wait for the spectator to get in game. We'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to SNHU Esports, where we go into game number 3 of the night. SNHU White versus SUNY Potsdam. Let's go ahead and hop into game number 3. This has been a pretty back and forth set so far, Connor.
Yeah, it's been, just neck and neck between these two teams right now. We're going to see a 5-point, nothing too serious between each other. No invades, no nothing.
I miss the invades. I feel like we used to see some crazy invades here, but we haven't seen any in a while. Even on SNHU blue streams, not a ton of invades.
Well, we'll see the invade and they'll get information out of it, but they won't get any kills and stuff. And they play it well too, because blue, they'll get invaded on bot side and then they'll ward top side, right between the corner of red pit and raptors. It's perfect. Or red, if you were red.
We'll see as this game gets started off here. Just looking at these compositions right now, this top lane is crazy. This top lane was made by crazy people.
It was.
There's Olaf versus Kled. I don't know if either of us know much about the Kled match.
So Kled has Grievous on his queue.
Yeah. So
I think if Kled takes kind of short trades with his W up, he can really play the lane how he wants to, because Rifo can't really do much without being in Kled's face, and that's kind of what Kled wants when he wants it. So
it's kind of hard to all-in Kled, too, because he will just kind of toe the line between being on Scarl and not. And he can get that health back very, very quickly if you don't put him down quick.
True. Yeah. He can queue away, too, but I feel like Olaf can catch him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not so much him running away. It's maybe he could get Scarl back. But it's still going to be hard.
In this bot lane here, it is going to be, I think, pretty even between the two. Lulu is going to be working with the Jhin, and I think Shoei Colt has a lot of experience on this Jhin, too, as well. So this is going to be a nice comfort kind of bot lane that he gets to play into here. And I'm pretty sure Spoon has also been playing a lot of Talia here.
Yeah. This is kind of the impression that I get from these compositions, right? They played the first 2 games and they tried to draft a sort of compositions around each other, and then it ended up kind of swinging in one direction heavily. And now this time they're saying, okay, just play what you're comfortable with. These are characters that you don't see too often, that these players are probably pretty invested in personally. And that's why we're seeing them come out here, especially on game number 3.
Yeah, I gotta go with their safer picks here, and which makes me wonder, this Zac pick, is it something that's gonna stick here? Because I really like the way that SNHU's been operating with the Zac pick. I think it fits well into their team. Yeah,
their engages have been super, super good, and I think that especially for SUNY, who really like to play a little bit slower, play more reserved, play a more kind of perfect game. I think having to factor around the Zac just hopping over walls really throws a wrench in that. And it's another layer of kind of okay, you need to ward very aggressively if you want to catch out Zac, because he's not coming through the river necessarily, right? He's going over the wall. And you need to have that forward information. So it just requires you to ward a little bit differently, and that could be a bit of a sour point here, playing into Zac.
Right, he doesn't really want to come from behind you. He'll just come from behind his laner. So if you don't have the prio to step up in lane and ward that, if you're on the side lanes, that third lane bush, or warding the tri bush or elbow there, then you aren't really going to catch a Zac incoming. So into lanes that don't really have a lot of prio, it's hard, but Delirious is going to be out there by both of those W's, and it looks like the pool isn't really going to come through there. Vegan's a little bit low, the Ignite coming out on him. He has his passive ready, and it looks like Adamaria will be able to pop that. Spoon running low on health or mana here. He gets Delirious with the W. He's going to pick up that first blood. Vegan's back from the grave here. Adamaria getting pulled back for a double kill on Spoon.
Really nicely done. I think, they tried to focus on Vegans, trying to just make sure that he didn't get resurrected. They needed to kill Spoon right there. They needed to just quickly try and burst him down as fast as they can, because once Vegans comes back alive, he's not the scariest thing in the world. It's just Zach.
I think they were thinking the same thing I was, and that's Just Spoon has like 1 Q left of mana.
Yeah.
But what they didn't think is, oh, he's on work ground. He has a free Q.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what he ended up doing. And it looks like he's going to dodge another gank here. Almost. It looks like the root's going to come out here. Adamar chasing him down. Auto attack. Going to bite him a couple times. He has water walking to maybe finish this off here. Yeah, Just Spoon is going to walk into...
He can't get away.
No, the
It's
water
so
walking.
sad. And you have to go without taking damage to get the surfboard on Talia, right next to the walls. So,
Yeah, you have to be out of combat.
so
there.
just wasn't able to pick up that movement speed. Had
Water
no mana
walking?
left either.
I
Really.
feel like water walking isn't that uncommon on Talia, but he is running that first strike rune page there, so it might not be the first thing that you're able to pick up when you're running that damage.
This looks like the first dragon is going to go over towards SUNY as they establish an early objective control. This has kind of been, I feel like if you look at the last few games, the way that they handle objective control has kind of decided in what direction the game swings. And for SUNY, I think they're breaking the trend here because they're not ahead and they found an objective. And that has not happened at all very much tonight. It's been a lot of teams already ahead, starting to find things. But yeah, there's 3 people up top, and that is a very dead Olaf right there. Just going to give a little bit of extra cash over to, I believe that was Spoon who picked that up. Now, 3 kills. Your mid laner has 3 kills. Yippee! That's a lot, yeah. If I was Delirious, I'd be a little upset.
I would be pretty upset too, but that charm is going to come out. Playing with fire here, going to get tossed right back into that ground. And these extended trades are kind of what Talia wants here.
Ooh.
Looking for a dive here. Adamara is going to be able to pick up that kill there. Just been trying to balance things out here. Has a pull him back, but it's not going to be enough there. Delirious barely going to live on 100 there.
That's scary for Adamara too, because he is way too low to try and commit to that. He's going to get about half his health back as he finds Scuttle, but Rarvane and
What is
Vegans
this?
down here could try and find something. That's a little bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah, but the mid lane was backing there. They have the support on rotation, but SUNY does have prio to get these 2 laners up there, so that's probably not a fight you want to take, because it would be definitely a long one with a Zac versus a Nunu. Both tanks. Oh, well, actually, Nunu is building kind of AP, I think.
Also with Nunu, he is hanging around the Rift Herald right now, and its time is coming up pretty soon, especially with Dragon died about 2 minutes ago. So SUNY SNHU hopefully looking to try and pick that up, because if they don't, SUNY is already in the area, and they might start getting started on that Rift Herald while there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, and you always got to watch out for Nunu doing those objectives, because if he actually gets the objective down to smite range, you're not really out smiting him.
Yeah, he's going to back-to-back smite it, and he's also not really going to lose health when he's fighting bosses like that.
Yeah, he has that sustain that a lot of other junglers wish they had. But luckily, I'm pretty sure Zac also has the same kind of sustain, not having as much damage, but does have the Q to pop out those little blobs there.
Looks like something might be going on down in the bot lane right now. Vegans is in the area. Doesn't look like he's engaged yet. Just trying to hang out in those bushes, but
I think they might be fighting. Plague Dog
they're
might die.
definitely fighting. He's in there. Plague Dog is
like
very,
2
very
health.
low. Yeah.
Shoiko will kill Plague Dog there. Oh, but Eat the Vegans is going to get slowed
he's
a little
fine.
bit. Yeah, he's fine. He got
He's
Varvane.
fine.
He got Varvane.
Just pop a little bit of an ult to keep him alive, and that is, when the teams are so close, that's so important to be able to have that utility on deck to just stop a totally preventable kill from going through. That is really important, just to keep SUNY from finding these small leads that they don't need to find, right? And that's been a little bit of an issue with both of these teams, just kind of allowing some things to slip by that maybe that should not have slipped by for free.
Yeah, and we're going to see just kind of a standard rotation from these junglers, clearing towards top, clearing towards bot here. Both of the objectives are down, but Delirious going to pop his ultimate there. Try to get out of here. Alar's back in. Charm comes out. He is just so confident here, but I mean, he has the flash up, he has the ignite up. Just Spoon doesn't have the same tools to work with here, so I would definitely be scared of another gank here. But oh, the flashy comes out with the ignite. That's going to be a kill here for Delirious. That's exactly what you're looking for with that ignite advantage, but it doesn't really look like he had to use it there.
Yeah, just making sure that he didn't spend that is really nice. So he can hold on to it for later. Could potentially get him a kill in the future. But for SNHU right now, that Rift Herald did end up going down towards SUNY. Nunu is currently holding on to it. And we'll see. He's back in base right now, so he's going to try and put it down soon. In the top lane, however, Vegans is nearby. Could potentially try and find something if Rufo steps up just a little bit too far, but unlikely that that'll happen. Vegan's just going to back out, try and pick up some new items, make sure he doesn't fall too far behind Adamara.
Yeah, Adamara is kind of getting out of hand here. 2-1 has that shutdown, and I feel like his clear is just really fast right now. He has pretty good farm. So with that being said, he is able to gank just a lot of these lanes. Buckles is going to use his ult to try to get out of there from that Adamara gank, and now it seems like SNHU has set their eyes on the dragon here in the bot lane, perhaps.
Yeah, it's starting to get postured over towards this. They're going to need to push out this wave first, and we'll see Delirious kind of hanging around that side of the lane as well. We'll see. Yeah, they are pushing Just Spoon back in the turret. He is going to end up going down. Vegans in the bot lane as well. Could potentially look to try and find some value, but now SUNY, I mean, they're putting on the pressure. They found a kill. They're starting to move down towards bot lane. They are going to make sure that they get this dragon, and they're going to charm Vegans. He's standing right on top of a ward. He is able to get away. Adamar not quite able to make that bend, but Vegan's starting to go in. Does miss the mark just slightly, and we'll see the Galio ult come through. Vegan's just barely staying alive. He does have his passive up, so he'll be back in a few seconds if he stays alive. Showy Colt, however, that's the worry because he is not coming back. He is down. Rarvane trying to escape. Delirious going to be sure to finish off Vegans there. Rarvane and Just Spoon so dangerous underneath this turret. It's going to be a double kill for Wax. Going to pick up their first 2 kills in that double kill. Start to make some money for it themselves. Get the ADC ball rolling for SUNY. Pick up this dragon as well. That will be the second one for SUNY. 0 for SNHU right now. Really strong objective control.
Yeah, Adamara is kind of going crazy right now with, just the pressure that he's providing. Like, he doesn't need to be on the dragon right now, but certainly going to try to get the participation in there. He walks over to smite that after placing the Herald in the mid. So that turret's looking pretty low here. The turret plating's about to fall. So that could be a potential weakness going out into the mid game for SNHU.
Yeah, I would be really scared of that turret. Once that pops open, that is so much map presence for SUNY, and they're going to be able to pretty much go wherever they want. We'll see the Ocean Drake takes over, and will be that for the rest of the game here.
And a thing about vision is, you get the vision from those waves there, right? Like the waves walking down the lane.
Yeah.
But just having vision of those jungle entrances is a lot of information because you get to see like who's rotating and who's walking in and out the jungle. But we're gonna see Adamara come out into the bot lane here. All come out from Wax, and that's a lot of easy on Showy Colt that you just can't deal with. Another kill here for SUNY.
Once Wax on him, man, the damage really ramped up. He was not able to withstand that. And it's something that I think will be kind of interesting in this game so far. We were talking about how Vision was a little bit of a struggle when it comes to dealing with characters like Zac and with Nunu. You have to ward very differently against them than you do with other characters. And now there are way more bushes on the map right here. Delirious, I'm not so sure that he's in any real danger right here. Just picking up a lot of extra damage on himself. Could be scary, but Vegans is able to get away. That's going to be first turret down in the bot lane, not the mid lane turret. Not the mid lane turret that is almost down, but a completely different one.
That's kind of weird. They had a lot of damage on that.
Yeah.
So that mid turret, when it does fall, they'll be able to get a little bit more vision like right between those two entrances right above the river, or if they want in between the tier 1 and tier 2 there. If you just place it barely outside of the range of that turret, it's a lot of information.
Adamara picking up some information here as well. Running right by Vegans, but this could be a problem. Half his health gone. Delirious on the scene. They're going to pick him off real quick right in front of the Rift Herald. They're going to convert over into that. And if they find the second Rift Herald as well, I'm really scared because they could either choose to take out this top turret or they could choose to take out the tier 1 in middle and the tier 2 if they really wanted to try and push it.
Yeah, the classic bush strat for Nunu there, coming in clutch. But it looks like SUNY really has the ball rolling right now, like pretty literally towards this top lane, where they're going to place the Rift Herald.
They don't even need to drop Rift Herald to kill this first turret. That's the scary part.
That is the scary part. If no one answered here, they would be able to just roll straight through tier 2.
So the whole team is pretty much being leashed up here.
Here is the pressure being respected here. And they're going to send 3 for the 3, but I feel like they could definitely do a little bit more. Showy Colt coming in here. Buckles is going to get knocked out of the way there, and the ult comes out from Showy Colt. They will be able to pick up a kill on Lee in the mid lane, but it looks like the ult's going to provide so much stickiness for SNHU to try to get to them there. They are just going to be able to get a little bit of damage off, get one of them, but Delirious is just coming through with that double kill. A lot of damage coming out from him there.
He doesn't have his charm either right now, so gotta worry about that. Really nice pick on the Adamara right there. SNHU making sure that SUNY don't just get to walk away with that. They're going to take the Olaf and the Nunu down to be sure. And that mid lane turret did end up dropping as SUNY pushed that as well. And wow, that tier 2 turret's already at half? That is crazy.
Yeah, they got so much turret damage off of that play there. But SNHU was able to play from behind a little bit there and able to pick up a shutdown, which is kind of the way you want to think about, trading your resources here, because there are opportunities like that to try to get back into the game.
This is just a blitz from SUNY right now, and we'll see a big gank comes in as Vegans and Spoon fly through, but they're focusing all their damage on Galio, who's just going to turn around, and Spoon now, Showy Colt as well, very low on health. Vegans goes in for the second engage, will be able to find one. He goes down himself. We'll see if he can get the resurrection off the Galio. Ult comes out. Zach ends up falling. It's Vegans out and down for the count, as well as Showy Colt. Just 3 alive for SNHU. They took 2 down with them. Definitely stopped SUNY's push in its tracks, but it was not a clean victory.
Right, trading 1 for 1 isn't that bad there for SNHU, though. When you're down, you get to trade a little bit more onto yourself. So it's not exactly what SUNY wants there, but they are going to be able to provide a little bit of pressure to walk back to this dragon here and probably secure that for themselves.
And this will be the 3rd dragon for SUNY, so you know how Soul Point is. They're gonna have a ton of just pressure on the map whenever the next dragon comes up, and with Baron coming up in a minute, we've seen a lot of Baron pushes that have led to successful dragon takes in this set. That has kind of been what both teams have been doing. We could see them try and go for that sometime soon. It'd be a very early Baron, but it would allow them to go for that dragon pretty much in peace.
Yeah, when you're walking back from that much pressure, it's really hard for the opposing team to kind of recoup and be able to actually deal with the waves that you're sending straight into the turret, especially when they're purple gooed, right? Like, it's so hard to deal with Baron minions.
And a lot of the times, if you want to deal with Baron minions, you deal with them by pushing into the other team. And if the other team is already ahead and they're in like a pretty defensible position, that can be pretty difficult. But we'll see. Looks like Adam Marge throwing some snowballs around. Vegan's trying to go on a little bit of a flank right here.
It's a 4-on-3. They don't have vision, really. They're kind of walking into darkness here, so it might be another Nunu angle here with the ultimate, the classic Nunu ultimate. I think that's really what they're looking for.
Yeah, right, it would be so nice for them right now if someone walked directly into the Nunu ultimate. Like
really
that That would be such a free Baron take if someone just walked right over into that bush. Buckles, no.
EO.
No. And he's down. Scarl's out. He's gone, and that is a 1 down for SNHU. The teleport comes in, but Spoon about to get overrun, has to try and flee as fast as possible. Show Eagle just pops.
Yeah, that's just such a good engage there. Playing that vision there is exactly what you want to do when you're ahead with Nunu here. It's really hard to play against that, and I mean, we even saw Buckles react to the slow and try to eat out of there, but it was just so hard, especially with the Galio, just to be able to secure them and trap them in there.
Vegans jumps out, pretty much conceding Baron here. SNHU are not going to have an easy time contesting this, and as SUNY start to burn this down, SNHU not around to try and steal it. They're going to go ahead and get that Baron buff. They're going to go ahead and pick up some more items, come back with those empowered minions, start to push these lanes even harder. And that's going to make it difficult for SNHU, especially because SUNY have all of their tier 1s still up. Especially that mid-tier 1, that is a turret that SNHU were really looking to cash out on soon. But if they push out that lane with empowered minions, they're not going to be able to. And they've got 2 minutes to just siege until Dragon's up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really difficult here. But SNHU, you know, they're trying to farm up here, are trying to get back their lead a little bit, and they do have pretty decent kind of like one target burst damage.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like these consistent fights, I definitely think, or kind of like long-term fights, SUNY has the upper hand.
We'll see, as they're already, you know, about a minute and a half early on really reinforcing the Dragon Pit here. But hey, why not? If you're in town, you might as well just start to get this lane pushed up. Dragon will be here sooner than you think. And if they can get this tower, flying in, the snowball comes in as well, and Joey Gold can't catch a break. Buckles is also down. It's a double kill for Adamara as SUNY start to push their way up onto the inhibitor turret. They've got nowhere else they need to be right now. They might as well just try and siege this. Vegans and Rarvane are going to have a difficult time stopping them.
Yeah, Plague Doc, the playmaker there, flashing over that wall with the W or taunt, right?
Yeah.
You can't W flash anymore, sadly. I think I saw him try to do that earlier, but they took that out of the game too strong. Too strong. Adamara trying to dive these 2 Nexus turrets is going to take a lot of damage. Doesn't have that tank. Nunu there. The flash coming out to dodge that. Engage the R from Shoiko. Will be able to take down the mid laner there and be able to almost root wax there. Eat the vegans on him. Trying to get that E. Has the Q on him for the slow. Buckles coming in here. Will be able to pick up that kill and give it to Shoiko even, which is a nice bonus.
And look, Vegans didn't even die.
Yeah.
He came out of this still alive, making good on that passive. SNHU successfully defend for a little bit. They wipe those Baron buffs from the board. They're going to start going down towards Dragon, where they will meet Plague Doc, but we'll see. It's unlikely that he's going to be able to do too much to stop them. He's kind of just acting like a ward right now, but he does get spotted. He starts to go in to try and fight this, gets the taunt. He's just buying time, and Adamara now on the scene. We'll see how much he can do. It's going to be Shoei Colt who finds that kill. Finally getting one for himself. He's had a pretty tough stroke of luck recently, but Adamara finds he stole the dragon and he found 2 kills with it as well. Gonna see him get shut down. Shoei Colt finds another 2 as he's hitting back hard with a vengeance here, but SUNY, ultimately they really sort of won off of that engagement there from stealing that dragon. That was tough. And now SNHU, they might get the chance to maybe push down this mid lane, but Shoei Colt, he's got to try and make a run for it, and Delirious and Wax are not an easy group to run away from.
Think they could have ended the game there if Olaf TP'd to the super minions in the bot lane that were sieging the turret. They even got one of the Nexus turrets.
That's true.
If he TP'd there, he would have been able to end that game. But SUNY is going to go on to siege this inhibitor turret. SNHU doing their best to protect it, will be able to spare their inhibitor, already having 1 down, but I feel like Just Spoon's doing a pretty good job of pushing out this lane right here. being able to push back those super minions, buy him a little bit extra time. Pressure not again. Here comes the engage there. There is no Nunu in that bush, and a nice engage coming out from SNHU. They will be able to burst down one of them, but Turtle Wax is just doing so much damage there. Eat the Vegan surprisingly still alive. A double kill coming out from Wax there, and a triple.
They are so hard to kill, man. Look at SUNY. They were withstanding fire for so long in that fight, and they were just tanking it.
Yeah, it's just so hard to actually put the nail in the coffin there. But, SUNY just, was able to just convert this lead so hard there. Adamara with the AP Nunu is just very, very scary.
What a crazy game from SUNY there. A lot of really strong plays. Adamara, I think, really shined in that match, which the Nunu shining in a match, I love to see that. That's a pretty fun pick. GG's overall to SUNY Potsdam. Put on a really good game here. Definitely back and forth in a lot of ways. And that last game, I think, was the kind of the closer game we were looking for there. There was a lot of team fights that had swung both ways. And SNHU, they found a lot of good value. They just couldn't make it stick in that last game, which is unfortunate. But for Potsdam, they're going to walk away with tonight's game. Congratulations to them. Thanks to both the teams for putting on a great show for us tonight. That is all for us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Overwatch. It'll be Sapphire, SNHU Sapphire versus Champlain. So that'll be an exciting match. Be sure to check that one out tomorrow around the same time. But yeah, that's all for us. If you want to see more about us or any sort of events going on here at the arena on campus, you can check out our Twitter at SNHU Esports, where you'll be able to find all of that, as well as any sort of plugs for our big events that are coming up. Once again, if you weren't here at the start of the stream, GSG is returning October 22nd, our big Smash tournament, completely open entry, so come on in and check it out, student or not. It's a lot of fun always, and we usually get a lot of entrants. And then also keep an eye on our Twitter for Never Hold Back, our Street Fighter tournament coming later this year. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's really exciting, so check that out. Look for all the details there at SNHU Esports. That's all for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for Overwatch.